You're listening to the Future Tech Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies such as artificial intelligence, stem cells, 3D printing, gene editing, Bitcoin, blockchain, the microbiome, quantum computing, virtual reality, and exploring space are much closer than you might think. In fact, many early versions of these technologies are in play right now, and the companies that are using these technologies are the focus of this podcast. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a thorny medical problem. Remember, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and tell your friends about it. Thank you. Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech and Future Tech Health podcast, and I have Charlie Bales. He's the founder and CEO of CB Supplements. C as in Charlie, B as in Bales. So the website is cbsupplements.com. So Charlie, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, tell me, I saw that at least one of the supplements has to do with collagen. What led you to get into the supplement world, and why the specific supplements you sell?
Sure. So it's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short. I have 3 children now. Their ages are 6, 4, and 3 weeks, actually. And
congrats.
Thank you very much. I have an amazing wife too. So our first child, which is the only girl, Vivian, she really started my health journey. Once you have to take care of another life besides yourself, you tend to look at things quite differently. And
right.
she was I don't want to say she was a really sick kid, but she was pretty sick. She was getting sick on a monthly basis, and when she was 18 months, about 2 years old. And we went to asthma doctors. We had a couple of stints in the emergency room. We went to her pediatrician often. She had these viruses and illnesses and couldn't breathe and asthmatic attacks. So we weren't really getting great answers from the medical community. So I did what most parents do, and you start reading. I discovered podcasts. I discovered books. I've probably read maybe 100 books by medical doctors, and that was about 3 or 4 years ago. So through all this research, I found the connection between food and health, and I'm my own guinea pig, so I did a lot of the things to myself, and then we made substantial changes to our daughter, and her health completely turned around.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you. And about 2 years ago, I was getting my master's in business on the weekend. And, of course, they teach you how to start a business. So I thought, I'm going to start one. I feel like I can create a really good supplement. And collagen was a huge piece of the puzzle of health for our daughter and myself. So I found a manufacturer up in New York, and we created this product, and now we have a business, and we're in year 2 of it. So hopefully that's not too much. That's the extremely abbreviated version. And right now we only have one product. Yeah, yes, sir. And we only have one product right now, which is the unflavored multi-collagen protein powder. We're looking to expand, but we don't have any outside funding. It's just me and 2 partners, and we're looking to stay in that debt-free zone. So we're slowly expanding.
So, why is collagen such an important facet of your daughter's health and your health? What is it about it specifically that is important?
Great question. So collagen is the most abundant protein in our bodies. We're basically made of water and collagen as human beings, and cholesterol for that matter, but that's a different conversation. It is in the tendons and bones and ligaments and connective tissue and a little bit of muscle. It's everywhere in your body. So as we age, our bodies well, let me back up. Our bodies manufacture collagen from the food that we eat, and they break it down to the amino acid profile, and then we create collagen. So once you hit about 25 or 30, your manufacturing starts to decline, and the efficiency starts to decline. And what's happening is that our children are coming into this world as the fourth or fifth generation of eating the standard American diet, which is TV dinners and fast food and a ton of sugar, and all of these highly inflammatic foods disrupt our metabolism and cause inflammation throughout our bodies, primarily in our intestinal lining. So guess what your intestinal lining is made of? It's made of collagen. And, you know, it's a deeper conversation, particular to the individual. But with my daughter, for instance, and with me, if you can imagine that your intestinal tract is inflamed, so that means that something is not going right. It's allowing toxins to pass into the bloodstream. Some people call it leaky gut. There's a lot of issues there. What collagen does, you know, in a very simple explanation, is it can fix that. It can fix the inflammation, it can lower it, and then it can restore metabolic function to your small intestine. So my daughter was getting sick so often because my wife and I unknowingly were feeding her a poor diet, which wreaked havoc on her intestinal lining, which your intestinal lining houses the bacteria, which create your immune system. So if that organ is inflamed, your immune system is not going to be functioning, which is one of the reasons why she was chronically sick. Now, we're fortunate that she didn't have pediatric cancer, for instance, and that we were able to quickly fix this over a number of years through diet and lifestyle changes. And why I decided to create my own collagen is because we were spending a fortune every month on collagen supplementation and bone broth. And I was getting my MBA, and I thought, we can create a company out of this, because there's a lot of great products out there. There's a lot of products, but the great thing about it is they actually work. And yes, this is an anecdotal evidence of my daughter's health, but there's a lot of parents out there, and a lot of them are executives in the tech world that are worried about the health of their children. And step one of taking that health back is educating yourself on what exactly the body does, how it processes food, and that's how I found collagen through a lot of the research and books that I read. One in particular, the book's called Deep Nutrition by Dr. Kate Shanahan, and we tried it out, and it worked.
Oh, that's great. What when you say it worked, what did you notice? Were you already giving your daughter bone broth and, you know, your own homemade collagen recipes, or was the bone broth enough? Did you have to add a collagen specific supplement? And what does enough mean? Like, what did it do? What did she experience? What did you guys experience?
Yeah. So it's really hard to get a 4 or 5-year-old to drink bone broth like chicken stock. So that really didn't happen. I would always tell someone, drink bone broth before you supplement. Like, get your supplements from real food, but there's a lot of people on the planet that are going to refuse to eat liver and drink chicken stock every day, and I get it. So for those people, we have a great unflavored collagen for you. So we would cook rice for our kids in bone broth, or throw some bone broth in a skillet and make some soup or things of that nature. But we've really noticed the difference with Vivian as we started giving her whole foods, low carbohydrate, more fat and protein, and then supplementing with collagen. So what did we notice? Well, her behavior immediately got better. Her mood was better. She was a happier kid, probably because she wasn't in so much pain from stomach aches and being sick all the time. And she would be sick once a month when she was 2 and 3 years old. And after implementing these changes, she's been sick 2 times, maybe 3 times in the past 3 years. We had pulmonologists tell us that she'd be on an inhaler every day the rest of her life. And I think we've used the inhaler the 3 times that she was sick.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's changes like that actually help the family. They help the business. They help everyone because everyone sleeps more. Everyone's happier. And those were the substantial changes we noticed with her, and we still see to this day. And now we have a great product that we can dilute in some hot water and then mix with literally anything because it's tasteless, and our kids enjoy 10 to 12 grams of our multi-collagen every day.
But how do they have it? So it's a powder, and what do you recommend people do with the powder? You just drink it straight with water, or put it in orange juice, or what's a good way to have it?
Sure. Yeah. So collagen's a sticky protein because it's your blood vessels, it's your tendons and ligaments that make up your elbow and keep your bicep and forearm together. So when you mix it, it'll be sticky a little bit. So you have to dilute in hot water as opposed to cold. But once you dilute it in hot water, it can mix with anything because it's unflavored. If you drink it just straight with water, you're gonna drink it and go, that tastes a little different than just tap water. And yeah, it does, because you have collagen from chicken, beef, fish, and eggs in there. So we can't process it crazy to make it completely tasteless in water. But we mix it with orange juice, milk. I make popsicles for my kids from orange juice, for example. We cook with it. We make gluten-free breads and muffins, and they typically drink either milk or orange juice with collagen in it that is tasteless every day, and we're cooking with it typically at dinner as well.
So in researching, I can understand why it would help someone that's older, but why do you think it's helping your daughter? Is it reducing gut permeability and inflammation? Like what do you think, after all your reading research, the primary mechanisms are that helps when people have collagen?
So what we're in, the time we're in America, it's a fascinating time for a number of industries. Tech, for example, is just unbelievable what it does for us. However, our diets are garbage. We rely on publicly traded for-profit companies like Nestle and Coca-Cola to feed the world. And that's unfortunate because they're incentivized to cut corners, to cut costs, to put products in the market. So disease typically happens later in life. You're seeing that happen as children are younger and younger. I mean, childhood cancer was nothing in the 1950s. It was a small fraction of a population. Now everybody has a friend who had a child with cancer. Why is that happening? I can't give you the definitive answer, but I can tell you what I've found in my research and in speaking to doctors in the field that study this stuff, that aren't just take your statin and move on. They are saying it's because we are in not the first, not the second, but the fourth, the fifth generation of eating processed foods. There's the Weston Price Foundation, after Dr. Price, who was a dentist in the 1920s, who traveled the world to go look at oral health of indigenous tribes, and he found that there was no metabolic disease in these tribes, and they had perfectly straight teeth without braces or anything. And he asked why, and it was because of diet and the nutrition that they were eating. So he did some experiments back in the States, which would be illegal in today's world. He did experiments on cats, which PETA would never allow that today. But he fed the cats what we're feeding as a standard American diet, which is basically processed carbohydrates, vegetable oil, and sugar. And by the fourth generation, the cats were completely sterile. They couldn't even procreate. They couldn't have offspring. And you're seeing that happen in America today, where, again, I have plenty of friends who can't have kids. And I'm one of those people that's going to point to the literature and the research that was done almost 100 years ago and say, maybe this isn't wrong, that the diet that we eat is extremely important for our metabolic health, and we're suffering the repercussions of that. So to get back to your answer, disease is coming sooner and sooner in life. Dr. Price already proved this in the 20s with his cat experiment, that the cats by the second generation were sick younger. The third generation were sick younger. The fourth generation couldn't even have children because they were so sick. But the amazing thing he did with his studies is he fed them low carb, protein rich, high fat diets to reverse everything. And within a generation or two, everything was reversed. So it's why people don't know about this literature, why the doctors I spoke to didn't have any idea about it, and I had to find it on my own. I'll leave for your listeners to decide to answer that why. I have my opinions for sure, but it's fascinating, and it's kind of a glimmer of hope to those parents out there that really just want their kids to experience health and wellness and vitality, that the connection between food and health, it's there. It's just hidden in the research.
So I noticed on the product that you sell, the collagen, it's a mix of different collagens from different animals. Why is that? Why not just collagen from grass-fed cows or chicken, fish?
Yeah, variety is the short answer. That there are, I think, most up to date, there are 29 different forms of collagen within the human body. And there's some literature out there that says there's only 16 to 18. I'm just giving you the high number of what I've found in my research. But most collagen within our body is like 90% of it is type 1, 2, and 3. And each type is found in a different part of the body, different organs, different functions. And the more sources of collagen that you eat, so collagen is in bones of cows, bones of chickens, bones of fish, the skin of all those animals. There's collagen in bears and deer. We just don't, as a society, really, what's the word? We haven't, we don't have deer farms out there. I mean, there's a couple, Epic Provisions has a venison bar, but I don't think they're making collagen yet. It's a lot easier to get beef collagen than deer, for example. So we just chose to create a product with the available products on the market because our product from the 4 sources gives 5 different types of collagen, where you get type 2 from chickens and you get type 10 from eggshell membranes and type 3 from fish and type 1 from beef. That's just a quick example of our product, but that's the main reason, is that we're just trying to give the body as much as it can handle, really, and as it wants, because not all collagen is the same.
So that's great. What did you notice was the difference in you and your wife and your daughter when you were just kind of making your own bone broths and collagen supplements versus this supplement that has all the different kinds of collagen in it? Any difference?
A little bit. If somebody wants to take just a beef collagen or just go drink the store brand bone broth off the shelf, I am all for just people investing in their health and doing the right thing. I think that we have a great product that will make you feel a little better. I'm probably a bad subject matter because I'm one of those nerds that can tell that what I ate the day before, I can tell you how I'm going to feel the next day, or why I feel the way that I do. So if I go a day, I'm an avid CrossFitter. I'm in pretty good shape. I had a ton of injuries in college that have kind of healed themselves from my diet and nutrition. So if I go a day where I'm not having 20 to 30 grams of collagen, I just wake up the next morning, I just hurt. I just don't feel that good. I feel stiff. And bone broth is extremely helpful for the fixing of the gut inflammation and permeability. Of course, our collagen helps with that too, because collagen is one of the main ingredients, or not ingredients, just one of the main benefits of bone broth. But bone broth has other glycosaminoglycans like glucosamine, which everyone's probably heard of, that help with your joints. And collagen is an example of one of those. So bone broth is kind of the bigger product, Collagen's the specific one, and the main benefit that we all experience is just lower inflammation, which just makes you feel good, better digestion. It helps you sleep better. The benefits, there are so many benefits to taking collagen that I just can't imagine a day. I can feel a day where I only take one scoop or something, or I travel and I don't plan well, but that doesn't really happen anymore because I just feel like I'm not supposed to feel this good I'm 32 years old. I feel better now than I did when I was 22. And I don't think that's how it's supposed to work.
Well, forget about it's supposed to work. If you're going to go along with supposed to, then, I know people in their 40s that are miserable wretches that, complain they're getting old. And then other people in their 60s that feel great. So,
Exactly.
I'll just inject a little bit of my philosophy, but I look at people that are 60, 70, 80, and some of them are 3/4 dead and some of them are doing great. So, I've started realizing, like, every day we all have a choice. Who are we going to be as we get older? Are we going to be that person that's a mess, or are we going to be a person that's healthy? So, I don't know if anyone wants to hear that, but that's what I started telling some people. I try to keep that in my mind.
And I think that supplementing with collagen, you're going to see some immediate results for sure, because our bodies are just so starved for anti-inflammatory foods and supplements that kill inflammation. However, part of supplementing with collagen and why I'm giving it to my kids at such a young age, it's the long-term play that I'm just investing in my future, in their future. They're still developing their bone structure and their connective tissue. And most studies on longevity, one thing that they all have in common, that the people who live the longest, they have the strongest connective tissues. Well, that just makes intuitive sense because your connective tissue and your skeleton are holding everything in place. The people who live to be 100 aren't in wheelchairs. A lot of them are still working and in their gardens. You have to have strong connective tissue and a strong foundation to live that long. And so I look at supplementing with collagen as a duty to invest in the future of not only my own health, that way I can play with my kids and I can play with their kids, but also for them, because it's our duty as parents to invest in the future of our children. And supplementing with collagen and a proper diet, I think, is part of that plan.
So what kind of feedback do you get from customers? And I know everyone's different. I know you're not promising any medical outcome, but what feedback are you getting from customers that, makes you happy or is interesting to you or unexpected?
So we get unsolicited feedback from our clients almost on a daily basis, and nothing makes me smile more than the individual who happens to be in their 60s that was considering knee replacement surgery and now has been supplementing with collagen for 3 months and walks 3 miles a day and is no longer even considering any type of surgery. That's one I'll always remember. I hear, and we can cut this out if you want to, but one that I hear most often is digestive support, that most people do not go to the bathroom every day. And when they do, it's not pretty. That's not how life's supposed to be. You're supposed to have properly functioning bowels. And for someone to tell me, your product helped me go to the bathroom for the first time in 3 years, I just kind of look at them and go, oh my God, like that's amazing. Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that, because the impact that's going to have on your overall health is amazing. And we've heard of individuals not having elbow tendonitis anymore. They're helping their rotator cuffs. People who have come off surgery healing sooner, skin healing sooner, hair growing back faster. You name it, we've heard it. And yes, I know everything is anecdotal. I don't have the scientific evidence to prove this. There's no double-blind placebo test. But it's just so gratifying to hear from your clients that, hey, your product works. So we're gonna.
I was going to say to you, don't worry. All those great drugs they advertise with all those side effects, those have had clinical trials, so they're safe to have. But simple collagen, be careful, because it's anecdotal evidence.
That's a great point, and I'll tell you, I get this question maybe once a week from a client that says, I'm pregnant. Can I take your product? And my answer is, do you eat chicken? And if the answer is yes, then you can take collagen, because that's really all our product is. Our product is, I wish that we didn't have to call it a supplement, but that's more of a legal conversation. Our product is just, it is food. And collagen, protein in general, is an amazing macronutrient. And I think collagen is so important that it should be its own, that we should be looking at our protein intake and our collagen intake per day, because that's why your grandmother lived to be 100, because she was making bone stock out of the whole animal and eating all the organ meats back in the day that now we just don't do. So people aren't eating collagen, and I think it's why the sports rehabilitation business is doing so well, because people are just broken. And that's why we see some people have such amazing results within 2 or 3 days. It's crazy.
Do I don't know, thought occurred. Do insects have? I know they have chitin, but do they have collagen? You know, crickets or any other insects?
I would assume so. That's beyond my scope of research. I do know that insects have more animal fiber than most. So that's why some people can't stomach insects, because the fiber content in them just throw the bowels off like crazy, because it's not plant fiber. It's something totally different. Yes, we evolved to eat them, but that's just, it's beyond my scope. I would assume a little bit, but yeah.
No, I asked because maybe there's a future product that, you know, includes, I don't know, components from plants and maybe components from insects, or even, you know, I know it's beyond the scope of what we're talking about, just the idea occurred. But.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea, and we're, as our small business continues to grow, we're entertaining all the great ideas of, you know, what other products can we offer the market that can give optimal health to all age groups. So maybe insects is something we should look into.
Well, so I was going to ask you, are there any other products or products that you think are next, or in addition to the collagen, or are you going to expand the collagen to, I don't know, flavors or different mechanisms of ingesting it? You know, maybe not just, maybe certain foods can take a tremendous amount of collagen integrated into them, and you can make a bar or some other way to have it.
Yeah, we're discussing all of those. We only offer one product size. It's a container that has about 60 scoops in it, with each scoop being about 8 grams of protein. So what's that quick math? You know, 480, just under 500 grams of protein in a container. We're looking at single serve packets. We're looking at flavors so that it can be mixed with water. Once you start to add flavors to a product, it's just another layer of manufacturing. That our product is so clean right now, and it's such high quality. That's why we're a little more expensive than some brands out there, because we just have really good ingredients. But yes, we're looking at all of those. We're looking at a grass-fed whey protein, because collagen and whey have this dynamic synergy that work together. That whey protein will help your muscles, and collagen will help everything else around your muscles. So it'd be a great opportunity to put two products together to give optimal health to our clients. But that's really it right now. We're just focusing on educating the masses. I think that people see collagen now. They know what it is, or they kind of know what it is. But it's more than just your hair, and it's more than just what people get injected into their lips. It's your gut, it's your heart, it's your lungs, it's your blood vessels, it's everything that holds your body in place. And if we can educate that fact to people, that it's so easy to put one scoop in your coffee every morning, to dilute a scoop in hot water and mix with your favorite beverage, except Coca-Cola, to cook with it. To find ways to sprinkle it onto the meat you're grilling. There are so many different ways to put it in your smoothie. So if we can, once we educate people on what it is and how to consume it and hear the benefits, then I think we'll be more likely to expand our product offering.
Gotcha. Well, very good. And we mentioned offline in the beginning for listeners of the podcast that you have a coupon code for them.
Yeah. So if you'd like to check us out, our website is cbsupplements.com. CB, Charlie Bales, for people to remember that. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. My email address is on our website. It's just charlie@cbsupplements.com. We would love to give your listeners a $5 off coupon to try our product. Our product retails online for $39.97, so they give them $5 off. Remind me what you would like to use as the coupon code.
Yeah, we'll just do Future Tech 1, the number 1. So Future Tech 1, all one word. That's probably the simplest thing.
That sounds great. I look forward to writing a lot of thank you notes with some packages that go out to your listeners.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on again, now that you're doing this and it's selling and you're getting great feedback? Like, what's you want to make more product-driven product. Any other goals or milestones for the next year or so that you want to achieve?
Yeah, I think it centers around education. I think that a lot of your listeners, they're obviously going to be in the tech space. I know that a lot of them are in the health and wellness area of the tech space. And they might be wondering, we're talking about a multi-collagen on a tech podcast. Well, what I would challenge everybody to think about is that an investment into your health impacts every facet of your life. It impacts your mood and how you're going to attack that meeting, how you're going to treat your team, how you're going to sell that day, how your brain's going to function with the constant stress that's being thrown at it. And if you are in a better state of health, then everything else will improve. So my ask to your audience is to consider putting health and health of your children, if you have children, or just family and friends, if you don't have children, put that higher up the food chain, higher up the line, and see the impact that it can have on the rest of your life. And I am, nothing makes me happier than to converse with anyone on the subject of health. So if your listeners want to reach out to me, I'm available and look forward to the opportunity to have any kind of conversation I can.
That's great. Well, Charlie, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're listening to the Future Tech Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies such as artificial intelligence, stem cells, 3D printing, gene editing, Bitcoin, blockchain, the microbiome, quantum computing, virtual reality, and exploring space are much closer than you might think. In fact, many early versions of these technologies are in play right now, and the companies that are using these technologies are the focus of this podcast. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a thorny medical problem. Remember, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and tell your friends about it. Thank you.